I was playing a song by Darren Claxton, who will be guesting on our show for the second hour. And he has just kind of made a big splash on here. So I personally just wanted him to feature on my show. I invited him on. I know that, like, he's been on some of the shows. So I wanted to catch him before he gets too famous, right? Maybe get his autograph. So he'll be on in the second hour. The first hour, we're going to have Mr. Mercury. And if I could just talk a little bit about him, he is, first of all, my own dad. So I think we should get that out of the way right now. Mr. Mercury is my dad. The funny thing is that he introduced me to Steam It like 2 years ago, and I was writing and I was doing things, and he's like, you should go on Steam It and get paid for what you do, blah, 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 the whole thing. And I'm like, okay. So I go on and I'm like, this is not a writing platform. This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I can write, and I did write a lot, but like, it just blew my mind. Like, the blockchain, it was bananas. It was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. So for me, it's been really, really cool, super fun adventure. And now I'm here, and I'm doing a live stream every Wednesday. And thank you, Sarge. And it's just been like a crazy adventure. So my dad is a poet, a philosopher, a writer, an author, what else are you? A rabble-rouser, a dad. I don't know. He's just everything cool. And I was like, why aren't you on Steam It? Here, come sit down, join us. I wanted him to come. Let me just check and make sure we're in the right field of vision here. Is that good? Let's get situated. Say hi, Mr. Mercury.
Hello, people. Isn't she better looking than me?
You're the one I get all my good looks from, right?
Yeah.
And my perspicacity. So Mr. Mercury I was like, okay, Dad, you have all this amazing poetry, and he's always like, oh, I should put it on a blog. Mom, maybe you could come over to my house and I'll put it on a blog. And I'm like, yeah, we could do that. So let's put it on Steam It. So I go over to his house and get him all set up, and he's like, what's the difference between a Steam dollar and Steam power, right? We started, how come nobody's voting for me? Remember that? Yes. What do I do to get noticed on here, right?
Yep.
So those were the days, and that was what, like 4-5 months ago?
That was right in the beginning of February.
So February, March, April, May.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Like not even 4 months ago, and he's already making more than I am. So he's making like $15 a post. And I'd say, just observing from my end, he's doing that on 3 things. Number 1, really quality posts. Like, he does not take shortcuts. He's in it to win it. Like, everything he does is just poof. And then number 2, quality comments. He goes through and actually has real meaningful conversations with people on Steam It. You can do that here too in Discord. There's different ways you can get connected. And then number 3 is curation. He votes for people and he promotes people. Mainly that's it. You find a hole. As Tim Cliff says, find a hole and fill it. My dad was like, I don't know if anyone's going to want to hear about my astrology or my politics. They love it. So I love his writing style. I think it's really fun. But today we're going to be talking about more of a metaphysical subject matter, are we not?
Yeah.
And I wanted to start in by talking about the double slit experiment. Okay, so yesterday we kind of got into it on the double slit, and okay, you guys, if you don't know what the double slit experiment is, I'm just gonna give you a quick summary, and you can help me out here
Sure.
if you want. It was actually designed originally in the early 1800s, and then a physicist by the name of Richard Feynman came along in the 70s? And he refined this experiment so that it had another kind of another aspect to it. And what they were doing was they were trying to measure what would happen to a photon, and if you did things to it. Okay, so so what they did was they just figured out. Is that a pretty good summary?
That's really good.
That was it, guys. Any questions? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've always been obsessed with the double slit experiment, and the reason why is because what happens is we know that is it an electron or a photon? I feel like it's a photon. It's a photon. It's a photon.
It's a photon. It's a unit of light.
It's a unit of light, and there's all this debate, like, is light a wave or is it a particle? And so people are like, well, let's figure it out. So they sent a photon through
A slit.
a thing that had a slit through it, right? So
Yeah.
it could go through one or the other. If it was a wave, it could do both. And then so they had figured out, we'll figure it out if it's a wave or a particle, if how it goes through the slit. If it goes through both, then it's a wave. If it goes through one, then it's a particle. Anyway, I'm not going to go into too much detail, and you could probably explain better, but what it turned out was that it starts out as a wave, and then when you don't try to measure it, like when you don't observe it, you just let it be, then it remains a wave. But when you observe or measure it, it turns into a particle. Like, so the photon is naturally a wave, but in this realm called like Earth and our universe and galaxy and what have you, it manifests, at least when we measure it, it manifests as a particle. And so what's your take on that? And if you guys if I'm confusing you, like, let me know. But okay, what's your take?
Okay, as far as I understand, the scientists have been stumped about this because what happens is when someone observes the photon, it turns into a particle, and they couldn't understand how that could possibly be. And this is what I would suggest is going on. Einstein said that time has been slowed down for us to enable us to experience matter. And in that experiment, time, or the photon of light, has been slowed down so that it becomes matter, it becomes a particle. And so the question is, well, how did that happen?
Like who slowed it down?
Who slowed it down?
Is it really slowed down, or are we just
Yeah.
slowed down, or is it exhibiting as slow when really it's fast, but in this sphere it's slow?
Yeah.
Like, so what's your...
So here's what I think. I think that we actually, humans, live in what I call slow time. Our consciousness is slow time. It's on the level of consciousness, we're what I call the first level of consciousness, which is survival level. But as we observe things, as we experience life, it actually is in a slower realm or a slower state of consciousness, and everything appears as matter. Whereas if we were in, let's say, the fourth level of consciousness, which is really pretty far up there, then things no longer appear as matter. They appear as energy.
Okay, so I like how you call it slow time. Is that your own little
Yeah,
pointer?
that's what I call
because
it.
what I think of when you say that is real time.
Yeah,
So
it's real
like
time.
when we're talking right now, we're streaming almost real time. I think there's like a 7-second delay, but it's pretty close to real time.
Yeah.
And like when you make a transaction on Steemit, there's maybe a 3-second wait period. So that's like almost real time when you think about it. So everything we experience in this life, we consider to be real time. Like, I just punched you.
Yes, and
You
I'll punch you back when we're off the show.
You experienced that real time.
Yes,
right?
I did.
What you're trying to tell me is that was actually not real time, was it? That was something called slow time.
Yeah.
And when you say that, what you really mean is that there's something called fast time.
Faster time.
Faster time. And maybe that's not the real word, but it's just like, so what we'll get into in a minute, because I kind of want to explore this slow time stuff, okay?
Okay.
What we'll get into is these 4 levels of consciousness that you talk about. And I don't know how deeply we'll get into 4, but maybe we can go through 1 through 3.
Okay.
And then touch on 4.
All right.
And so let's lay some groundwork, okay?
Okay.
So slow time consciousness to me, and I actually kind of have the same thoughts you do, which, by the way, just for all of our audience of 2 people out there, I don't know who else. I know there's more of you listening. Hold on. Let's get Hazem. Can you hear now? Did you get on? You can stay on Discord and chat. But then, so you can do both. I don't know if you just have a phone. Can you hear us, Hazem? I don't know how you say that. Hazem? Am I saying that right? Hazim. It's probably Hazim, right? Hazem? Hazim? Yeah, here, and watch. Well, anyway, do you want me to call you Hazim? I probably will call you Hazem. Hazm. Hazm.
As you notice, my daughter Becky is on fast time. The rest of us are on slow time.
Actually, no. You know what? When I was a kid, I just thought, we'll call you dude. Yes. When I was a kid, Dad, what did you remember what you used to say to me?
No, a lot of things.
You used to say, Earth to You'd say, Earth to Becky.
Earth to Becky. Yo, we called, where she is, we called Becky Land.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
You weren't too far off. And I think I inherited it from this guy right here.
No.
Yeah, so I wanted to back up a little bit because, yeah, because when I was a kid, I remember my dad used to have this book called Our Universe, and it was like this thick and then like this clunking wide, and it was this black, nice, sleek, black, shiny cover, and then you open it and each page was like, it smelled like ink, like just lots of ink. I remember this. Like a magazine, like a really nice magazine. And inside that book was the cover of the book just had, we should have dug it up. We should dig it up.
I have no idea where it is. I probably.
But the cover of it had like this galaxy nebula thing on it.
Yeah.
Like, and then you open it up and then it starts talking about like, our universe would take 100,000 years to get from one side to the other if you were traveling at the speed of light. Am I right?
Galaxy, not universe.
What?
Galaxy.
Our galaxy would take 100,000 years to travel from one side of the other of our galaxy at light speed?
Yeah, so if you're moving at 186,000 miles per second, it would take you 100 to 180,000 years to go from one side to the other.
That's just our galaxy.
That's just our galaxy.
And so there's other galaxies that are far larger than ours.
And what's fascinating is up until a couple of years ago, astronomers, scientists thought that the universe was comprised of about 400,000 galaxies, which is quite a few. But last year, the University of Nottingham in Britain, the UK, they came out with a study, and they collaborated with scientists all around the world, with astrophysicists, and they used the Hubble telescope and lots of good science over a period of several years. But they came out with a paper last year, and they said that now there's at least 1 trillion galaxies and probably as many as 2 trillion galaxies and maybe more.
Just in our universe.
In our universe. In other words, they couldn't count them. There was so many. That is absolutely stunning. If you take
like mind-boggling. So, because like,
Okay.
were you the one who said like they took the Hubble telescope and they just like pointed it at this like black spot?
Yeah.
For what? A month? A day?
Well, what they did, this was back in the early 2000s, they used the Hubble telescope and they focused on a a small little part of the universe, of the window of the universe, where no light was coming through.
Okay.
And they focused on that spot for, gosh, I think it was 3 days, if I remember correctly. And then when the images came back, they were stunned to discover that even in the farthest reaches of dark space where no light was, there was thousands of galaxies coming through.
Oh my gosh.
So, but what is fascinating to me, if you consider that our galaxy has about 400,000 stars, and we're just a modest sized one. We're not super small, we're not super big, we're just modest, average size. But if you took 400,000 stars and multiplied that by 2 trillion galaxies, I mean, the number of stars, of solar systems, of planets is just, I mean, you can't even calculate
You can't
it.
count.
You
And
can't
that's
comprehend it.
just our universe alone.
That's
So
our
you're
universe,
saying
yeah.
we're a modest sized galaxy. It would take 100 to 180,000 light years at the speed of light to go from one end to the other. We're just modest size. And there are 400,000 of galaxies inside our universe. No,
There's-
there's 2 trillion. There's 400,000 stars. No, hold on, I'm going to get it.
Stars. In,
400,000 stars in our galaxy.
yes,
And there's up to 2 trillion galaxies
Galaxies.
in our universe.
yes.
And even just one galaxy takes 100,000 light years at a modest size.
Some galaxies are, oh, I can't remember the name of the largest one that we're aware of, but it's,
We're Andromeda, right?
no, we're the Milky Way.
Isn't it the same thing?
No.
I just wanted to say Andromeda.
So some galaxies are 1.5 million light years across. And we're talking about
Like
our
diameter.
our galaxy is 180,000 miles at the or 180,000 years across, but some galaxies are 1.5 million light years
in
across
diameter.
in diameter.
Like I keep seeing this picture of a fried egg, like as a galaxy, like this fried egg with a yolk in the middle, and then the yolk is like maybe our solar system, only not that big.
No, the yolk in the middle of the Milky Way galaxy is I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of stars, but we're out on what they call a spiral arm, so we're way far away from the center of our galaxy. It's a big place.
Wow. See, and one of the things you study is astrology, right?
Yeah, astrology.
You just did my chart yesterday.
I'm an astrologer. Yes, I am.
And what you said in my chart was that I'm going to make it famous on Steam It tomorrow.
You have good things in your chart right now.
Okay, that
yes.
works for me. So Darren, it looks like you just hopped on. Thanks for stopping by. I played your song, or at least the first half of it, at the beginning of the show. We're going to hear more from Darren in the second hour. I'm super excited to have Darren on. He's a true Brit, right? We'll talk more to him soon, but feel free to chat it up in the chat section. It is now 1:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which puts us 8:20 p.m. Universal Time. And we are talking with Mr. Mercury. This is who's also my dad. Mr. Mercury is his username on Steemit. He is poet, philosopher. I like to refer to you as a philosopher, but like honestly, that word kind of sounds hoity-toity. Like, my dad's a philosopher. Really, it just means he philosophizes and he reads all of the philosophers' work, like from Kant to Nietzsche to how do you say it? Nietzsche?
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche?
So back in the day of Newton, who they called themselves natural philosophers. In other words, they were curious about all things on our earth, not just the mental aspects of philosophizing, but they were scientists too. They were curious about mathematics and the earth and the stars and the galaxy and all that kind of stuff. So I consider myself more of a natural philosopher.
So you're not so much like a moral and ethics, human nature philosopher as much as just like, what's the whole big picture? Why are we here? Kind
How
of
does
thing.
it all fit in together?
Which ties into your interest in astrology and astronomy.
Yeah.
And by the way, when he would talk, like when I was a kid, and I'm talking about this book called Our Universe that he used to have on the coffee table, it was like a religious experience just looking through that book. And then I'd see my dad sitting there on the couch, just like thumbing through the pages with just a deep reverence. I mean, it was like something important was happening right there in my living room when my dad would look at that book. And I kind of took that with me. And so I'm really only interested in people who can talk about double slit experiments. I'm sorry. It's my dad's fault. Okay, so we were talking. It's true. It's actually true. Like, I think most people are pretty cool, but what really turns me on is double slit experiments. And the reason why is because when the photon goes through the slit, it's a wave. And when it hits the wall, it's a particle. And what we were talking about yesterday was that it's only a particle because we observed it. So it either knows that we observed it, or we had some kind of effect on the particle, or we're in a simulation and someone else has laws of physics that require that something metaphysical, in order to be measured, become physical. Which one is it? Is it all three? Are they mutually exclusive? I mean, which one is it, Dad?
Well, this is what I think. We're in slow time consciousness, the first level of consciousness, which is survival consciousness. It's, well, we'll get into that in a moment. But when we observe something, we see the particle, okay?
Right, like I see your hands, you've got like
So in our consciousness, because everything is slowed down, there's an interesting quote, I think we said it earlier, from Einstein. He said that things, time has been slowed down so that we, to allow us to experience matter. Well, the question is, how is time slowed down? Did somebody do that? Whose decision was that? But nevertheless, we live in a slow time state of consciousness, and so what we observe, what we experience, becomes particle, it becomes matter. If we were in the fourth level of consciousness, it would be, like I said, it would be wave. It would be pure light. It would be
like we became a photon, right? Am I right?
We would be. Our own consciousness would rise to a level or a frequency or a vibration, a higher frequency.
So the question is.
So we would change. Yes.
Are we a photon in like fetal, like what's the word, embryo? Are we a photon, or would we need to progress to that? Like, is it the level of frequency? I don't even know. In
its pure sense, we're both. We're just like the photon going through the double slit experiment. And
okay, but what about this, like, I want an identity stuff? Like, I am me, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to become a photon. That's like...
Okay, well, that's great. That's a great way to say it.
Photons are lame.
On the first level of consciousness, we experience ourselves as physical bodies. And we experience, and on this earth, most people, in fact, all people, are on the first level of consciousness physically, because we deal with aging bodies, we deal with the fact that we have to eat food, and we touch things and they feel solid. And we
cut ourselves and we need a Band-Aid.
Yes, we experience life as matter. However, that's not the complete truth about who we are. We're really pure energy, and this is where it becomes a mind trip. You know, physicists are saying that an atom is 99.9% nothing. The electrons, the protons, the neutrons inside an atom are so far apart from each other on that minuscule level. But 99% of it is space.
Right.
So when I look at you, I see a physical, solid matter body, but actually you're 99.9% nothing.
Right. I thought I was 90% water, but now you're telling me I'm nothing?
But now as you go up to the fourth level of consciousness, then not only if you were in that level of consciousness, you would experience yourself as pure energy. So
wait, let me get this straight.
And you would see and you would experience the universe as pure energy.
What? Because here's the irony here. Is you're telling me I have all this space between my atoms, which we know.
Yeah.
Or like the electrons spinning are what make me constituted as a physical being.
Yeah.
So, and they're spinning around basically nothing. And the nothing is basically most of my construct.
Yeah.
So, in order to vibrate at a frequency that would be high enough to put me to the level of a photon, one of two things would need to happen. Number one, or maybe both. Number one, the way I see it is that that would need to be condensed. But you know what I mean? Like my energy would need to be squished together so that I'm vibrating at a higher frequency. On the other hand, when you're vibrating at that level of frequency, you are kind of nowhere at the same time. Like you're everywhere and nowhere. Kind of like the Schrodinger's cat experiment, right? Where like it's everywhere and nowhere at once. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, all that I can say about that is that when you go up to the upper third level of consciousness or into the fourth level of consciousness, you experience things much differently than you and I are experiencing right now. And you come to a point, and many people actually, the Buddhist masters who meditate, and not only Buddhists, but a lot of different religions and
Yeah,
a lot of
because
different
as
people.
far as I understand, Muhammad did this as well. Like he came with the Islamic religion. He did this whole like
He may have.
meditation thing and then came and I think the angel Gabriel, help us out, people. I
So-
think like
Well, what happens
it was the
is
angel Gabriel came and he told him like, here's the Quran. Am I right?
your consciousness it doesn't have to be in the fourth level all the time. It can be just momentary. And in that moment of fourth level consciousness, then you experience the universe, you experience everything as one. So it's no longer a matter of language and mental function where you try to understand it.
You
You
just
go
are
to
it.
that fourth level and you experience the universe, you experience all people, all things, all animals
time.
as one thing. It's an experience because
Oh.
you are part of that wholeness.
So this is kind of like where we're getting up to God level, like what God would have experienced.
Yeah.
And so
So
do you think, because I believe in an anthropomorphic God, like I'm all like, he's up there and I say my prayers and Jesus and all that. But my understanding is that he's kind of like the photon, like he has this body, but he can sort of be everywhere at once. I know.
that creative energy is pure energy. It's pure intelligence, pure love, pure time. There is no time as we experience it. It's all one thing right now.
So kind of like
that's,
Moses,
That's
right?
what eternity is there's no time. So he's
So-
pure love, pure consciousness, pure light, pure intelligence, all of that. In fact, I think when people say love is God, that encompasses the whole thing of what God is or source is. And so now, one of the first laws of the universe, or of the cosmos as I call it the first law, is there must be opposition in all things. And so if you have God or source or creator on one end that's pure light, pure intelligence, pure love, well, there has to be an opposite of that. And that is no light, no frequency, no vibration, no love, no energy, no intelligence. It's pure void, nothing.
Like it's even below hatred. It would just be
Way
actually
below.
like non-existent.
So those are the two extremes. We find ourselves on this planet in this consciousness exactly right in the middle. And we can choose which way we want to go. We can go towards darkness or we can go towards light. And that's one of the functions of our reality here on this planet.
And you've said that these Buddhist monks have accomplished this third and fourth level consciousness. How do they go about doing so?
Well, they use meditation as the tool or the vehicle that gets them to that state of consciousness.
Do they use like peyote or can they just like fully on just...
No, they've learned meditation, and we call it mindfulness. And mindfulness is also not one state of consciousness. Mindfulness in, let's say, the first level of consciousness would be when you hit me, you hit me. So that's kind of mindfulness, I guess you would say. But on the second level, it rises up where we're more aware of our surroundings, we're more aware of the emotions of our energies. On the third level of consciousness, mindfulness would be, yes, now we're meditating and we're getting into the realm of much higher consciousness, and we become aware of the minutiae of energy that's flowing through us. and we can break down a second into microseconds, and we can actually experience those microseconds. So, for instance, the Buddhist masters, and not just the Buddhist masters, it's other people too. It's not exclusive to Buddhism by any means. But what they do through their meditation, they've worked over possibly years and decades to get to the point where their consciousness is so finely tuned that they experience mindfulness on a completely different level than what we do right now, right here. They are so sensitive to the energies that are about them that it's a completely different world. But that's mindfulness on its extreme, except for when you get to the fourth level, what I call the fourth level of consciousness. And the reason that I've segregated these into levels, the consciousness, it's just because humans like to have a way to measure things, to monitor things, to break them into units, and that's a function of first level consciousness.
Yeah.
But consciousness really is a stream, and it goes from no consciousness at all, which would be the opposite of source, which there's no frequency.
Would it be non-existence and death, or would it be you exist in a state of
You would not experience life at all. There is no life there. It's complete, total. You listen to the physicists, and they say that if you can compress the matter of the universe down into one thing, it would be smaller than a golf ball.
Wow.
And I'm not so sure about that, but possibly. And that would be where if you could compress the matter, what we call matter, down into a golf ball sized thing, there would be no vibration, no frequency, no light, no nothing. It would be a solid, absolute solid mass that would weigh infinitesimally heavy compared to where we are right now.
I have to write that down because I want to bring that up to you.
But I think what happened, and this is a theory of mine, I don't know if it's true, but I think that pure light, pure source, pure energy, which we call God or source or creator, came into that pure mass, and that was the Big Bang. All of a sudden you have a universe because it entered into that pure mass. And so, but that's just a theory that I have.
Okay.
So anyway, this whole concept of a graduating or gradual levels of consciousness is my construct, but in reality,
Really,
it's just a constant stream. It's like when the sun comes up in the morning, you see a little bit of light, and then as it goes, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter until it's noon and it's at its brightest point. So that's how consciousness is. On our first level of consciousness, which humans are on, it's survival consciousness. That's where we find war. That's where we find, we have to survive. So survival function is the main thing that we deal with. And so you have sex and food and...
I have to interrupt you because Sarge says, this stuff is deep and I'm out of weed.
Yeah, smoke one. Go ahead and smoke one. I won't say your name, but it looks like Sarge to me. Yeah. So now, which brings up something interesting. The use of psychedelics. And please forgive me, all you good Christians out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Christ smoked a doobie every once in a while, and even the Buddha. I wouldn't be surprised if he used marijuana because it came from that area of the world. But psychedelics, ayahuasca, LSD, weed to some extent, peyote that the Native Americans used down in the southwest of the United States.
Do their moon quest, or what is it? What do they call that?
Moon rocks?
They know they'll smoke the peyote and then they go on a quest.
Oh yeah.
To become a man.
Yeah, so they go on a vision quest.
Yeah, vision quest.
So psychedelics actually perform a function. What they do is they raise the frequency, the vibration of our consciousness. Whoa.
Oh. No,
but I think that's what it is.
No, you need to hear me. There is scientific evidence that the psychedelics and stuff do actually increase your neural network.
Oh, they do. Absolutely, they do.
And the question is, though, here's the debate.
Okay.
And we won't go on a too big of a tangent, but the question is that neural network that you're creating with the psychedelics and then having like visions, is that network are those dendrites forming actual like real connections of the universe, or are they a hallucination? And I think that's where people draw the line, and they're like, that's a hallucinogen, but I don't know. I know that like the zootropics, like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There was this TV show with this FBI agent who took a zootropic, or no, he took a zootropic, and then they're like, you should work for the FBI and solve our cases. And I'm like, I totally want a zootropic. So I just think we're using what, 5-10% of our brain.
Yeah, people or scientists say we're using 10% of our
And so
potential.
you take something that helps you access more of your brain.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's advised. I'm not advising taking drugs. What I am saying is we have a segment of our brain matter that is not being used. Why should we think then that we know everything and see everything and perceive everything? If we were to hypothetically tap into that segment of our brain, potentially what you're saying is we could tap into a higher frequency of ourselves. That being said, Dad, here's the clincher, okay? Let's say...
So I have a question for the audience. Are your ears trying to keep up with her mouth?
Am I talking too fast?
Yeah.
Am I talking too fast? Am I talking too fast? No. I feel like I'm talking really slow.
Okay, so anyway, so state your question. You were going to ask the question.
I don't even remember. Hold on. Okay, so that being said, what was I saying?
We were talking about psychedelics.
See, I don't need to do drugs, you guys. I don't.
No,
I don't do them.
You don't need psychedelics. You can use just meditation, and you become more and more. I mean, you start out meditation with observing your breath. And I know, like, what's his name? Jack Kornfield, the really popular Buddhist that lives over in the Bay Area, San Francisco. He started in a monastery over in Thailand when he was, I think, 23. And so how he began his meditation practice was focusing on his breath. And he did that for hours and hours and weeks and weeks and months and months.
Yeah.
And
they have like these desensitization tanks, like
yeah,
where they put you in. I did one of those one time.
Did you?
Yes, it freaked me out. I don't like those.
Well,
Get me out.
Now what happened to Jack Kornfield was in the beginning, you're on the first level of consciousness, and all you hear is your breath going in and out. You become aware of it, mindful of your own breath. But as he practiced over years, and now I think he's 70, 71 years old now. Now, and I'm speaking for Jack, forgive me, Jack, I don't know exactly what happens, but I'm supposing that when you meditate now, you instantly go into a third or fourth level of consciousness, and your breath becomes completely different. You're probably to the stage where you can actually sense the atoms of oxygen going into your body and oxygenating your blood and oxygenating the organs and flesh of your body. And this is really fascinating. This is an example of mindfulness. When you get up to like these third level of consciousness, you actually can, and I'm pronouncing this wrong, but anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about.
The Buddhist monk that we all revere.
Okay.
When he does his walking meditations, he's on a third level of consciousness, and he experiences life completely differently than what a first level of consciousness person would do. But okay, so
I do remember my question.
Yeah, what's the question?
So if we only have access to like 10% of our brain on average. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why is that? Why do we only have access to that much? Why do we give you a big brain? Like, why not have a little tiny brain? And also, who made it that way? And also, if that's the case, are we not in a simulation? Go.
Okay. First of all, the physical body is a representation of the energetic body, okay? The physical body, it'll die. The matter of calcium and magnesium and carbon and all of that stuff that comprises our physical body, when the spirit separates from it, the physical body dissolves, okay? Goes back into the dust. Dust to dust, the standard scriptural thing out of the Old Testament, New Testament. So, but the real essence of who we are is that energetic body. And now I can't remember your question, but what was your question?
I know I'll tell you my question, but Sarge says instead of saying, yeah, little scribe, you talk kind of fast. He's really polite and he says, yeah, Dad talks just a tad slower. What he means is Dad talks at a normal
pace
rate.
Okay.
But my question was, so why would we have only access to this little segment of our brain? Like, what's the purpose? Are we supposed to be like,
okay, that was the question.
Like, why not have access to our whole entire brain? Why even have one?
So the physical body is there. It's a construct of the energetic body, but you don't have access to that other 90% until you raise your consciousness.
Right.
And then at that higher level of consciousness, then your consciousness can work through the physical elements of...
Well, what's the point? Why work through? Why not just like be level 3 when you're born? Why even be born at all?
Well,
why not just like be level 3?
That,
you're level 3. Good job.
That is a deeply religious question, or it has been in the realm of religion.
Is that where the opposition comes in?
Well, yeah, religions try to answer the question of why we're here, where are we going, where did we come from, what's our purpose?
Because my answer would be, it wouldn't be possible. Because if we're a manifestation of the universe, as you say, because we got into this yesterday, you're like, okay, we are a manifestation of the universe, but the universe kind of wouldn't exist without us because we would not be able to perceive it. It's kind of like if a tree falls, do you hear it? Maybe parts of it would exist, but there are certain parts of the universe that either would not exist or would not need to exist, because what's the point unless someone can perceive it? What's the point?
Well,
and so as we're created, or whatever it is we are, we become this perceiving manifestation of ourselves. Like, what?
Okay, so, go back into the New Testament when Jesus was talking about the body of Christ or the body of God, and he was saying we're all one and we're all part of that. And that's pretty much how we are too. We are individual units of consciousness. We're part of the body of the cosmos, experiencing consciousness here and now. But as we become more conscious, then we begin to experience the entire cosmos.
Okay, so then it exists with or without our perception and ability to perceive
yes.
it.
So if your consciousness were to end right at this moment, then, the whole rest of the cosmos wouldn't collapse. I know that's a surprise.
What? I'm sorry,
but it's true.
I could have sworn you just said that the universe would continue without
you.
me.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to disagree, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
You ready for this?
I am ready.
I just discovered 2 days ago that I am, scientifically speaking, the center of the universe.
That's true.
And I'll tell you why. Because our universe is not a globe, our universe is not a flat plane like a fried egg. It's a spherical globe. Am I right? Or...
Well, yeah, okay, we can go with that. Yeah.
If it were a shape.
It's not shaped like a galaxy. It's one...
It's not a shape, but if it were, it would be something of a sphere.
Well, there's no dimensions to it. There's no boundary. It's just
it's everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Got
So
that.
it's not like a flat plane. Like from here to here is our universe, but anywhere up and below, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, right. So that being said, when you're in the universe, you're not inside it. You're on the surface of it because it, at any point, is
that is the slowest you're... I hope this is recorded because we saw her. We saw her speaking very slowly. That is something.
That is the slowest you're ever going to see me talk.
Yeah, you are. Well, Becky, let's just take it from there. That yes, you experience the universe
Hold on,
as
let me finish.
you experience it as the center of the universe because you are.
Because the universe is expanding, and as it expands, it's not just expanding from here to here. It's expanding as like a thing, like a balloon,
Yeah,
and so
it's
you're
like,
kind of on the surface of the balloon. So anywhere on the balloon, it will be expanding outward from you, which means that anywhere you are in the center.
Yeah.
So I am the center of the universe, but
Well,
so are you. So it's okay.
So going back to the example that Jesus gave us in the New Testament, it's all one body, and so you would be in that example. You would be maybe a skin cell or a hair particle of hair or something
Of the body.
But if you were to experience yourself as in a higher consciousness, you would be the whole body. It would be kind of like if you go to the ocean and you look at the ocean, you say, that is the ocean, okay? But if you were to take one molecule of water out of the ocean and put it in your hand, would that molecule of water now be the ocean?
No.
No. But if you put it back into the ocean, it's now part of the ocean.
Yeah.
And so right now you're experiencing yourself as a molecule of water.
So
But
then-
you're actually the ocean.
Okay, so
You're the ocean of the cosmos.
right, but that sounds so cheesy, Dad, because that's what everybody says. Like, oh, when we die, we're just awareness. And I'm like, oh, come off it. We're individuals. When we die, I'm still going to be me. And I know that.
Your soul.
Nobody's going to take that
Okay,
away.
so your soul remains. Well, that gets into a whole other subject, is the function of the soul and what the soul is exactly, which would be a fun topic to come back and talk
we could.
about.
Especially because you have people like my favorite, Long Island Medium, who talks to like dead people.
Yeah, but we've only got a few minutes left, Becky. We got 11 minutes. okay?
11 minutes. Okay.
So now what I want to talk about, if we can.
I will stop interrupting.
No, you don't want to do that.
Is it possible? Can I actually get through a conversation? We should do that one time. We should just have you like talk and see how long I can go without being like,
No.
wait, hold on.
Did you guys ever see that movie Mars Attacks, where these Martians came to the Earth, and then they couldn't figure out how to get rid of the Martians, and one of the guys played.
What's that? What's that sound? Darren, are you trying to talk? I think he's testing out his sound. He's on next. Don't mind him. We're
Anyway.
all good. Okay.
So what I want to talk about briefly in the few minutes that we have left has to do with Steemit, but it has to do more with the future of humanity.
So let's focus on Steemit. Okay, so level 1 would be like, I need money.
Level 1 is spam. They leave a comment on your post and they say, "Great post, vote for me."
Yeah.
Or upvote me, please.
Yeah.
I need your money. They're from Nigeria or wherever, and they do need our
Which
money.
I have some great Nigerian followers. Who
So
are awesome, but
that would be level 1, where you just see the function of, I've got to get on there, I've got to make money. And it's got to work because I'm starving or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Level 2 would be you're looking around, you're becoming aware of your presence on Steemit, your job, your assignment, what you need to do, commenting, posting. You become more aware of the function of Steemit.
Okay.
And you begin to say to yourself, yeah, if I help that person over there, then he'll in turn help me. So I'm going to lift him up and he's going to lift me up.
okay.
A third level of consciousness as far as Steemit goes is you go, wow, here I am on Steemit and I'm sharing a presence of myself, a part of myself that is really unique and special and dynamic and powerful. In fact, here on Steemit, I'm able to say things, do things, be things that are the truth of who I really am. That's a third level consciousness as far as Steemit goes.
And also helping elevate the platform to a level that would be conducive to helping other people do that way.
So we move on a third level. It's right on the second, moving into the third level. We go into what I call cooperative abundance.
Did you come up with that?
Yeah.
Because I see it on your post and I'm like, that's cool. Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool word, isn't it?
Oh,
Or a
my dad wrote that.
Cool
Coined it.
phrase. So cooperative abundance on Steemit is second, third level consciousness. And that is where we recognize that my brothers and sisters, my fellow Steemians, are the same as I am. we're all trying to rise together. And we realize, or I realize, or you realize, that now if we work cooperatively together, we all rise. We all become something that we could not have done by ourselves. And so we largely put the ego behind us. We put all that survival, the grubbing and
Greed
grasping
and
and greed and
selfishness,
all that kind of stuff.
fear.
And we go, hey, this is where it's at. We need to, or we can lift each other up. Now, the fascinating thing is on Steam It right now, there are a lot of people participating in what I call cooperative abundance, where at the same time you have a lot of people like certain whales, that I won't mention, that are on a very first level
Yeah.
of survival mentality, survival consciousness. And so the people on the second level are going, look at that guy, he's really abusing the network platform. And so they're descending down into first level consciousness too. But where we want to go as a platform, as Steam It, is we want to raise as many of us as we can into that cooperative abundance. And when we do that,
We'll just like blow everybody's
the
mind.
world will change. Now,
And I think we have the potential. And
We
I
ha-
think there
we-
is conversation. It used to be that way.
we absolutely have the potential. I see it right now. Some of the people that I associate with, Dave McCoy, WWF, Earth Mother, What's Up. There's so many people out there that are lifting each other up, that are sustaining, supporting, not only with their delegation of steam power, but with their comments, with their putting people in communities, with their pulling them into Minnow Booster and training. So that's all second level, but it's moving up to second level of consciousness. Now, here's the point that I want to make. We have to, as our only hope to survive as a species, the only way that we're going to survive, frankly, is we have to move ourselves up to a third level of consciousness. We have to bring the idea of cooperative abundance, not just in money, but cooperative abundance in love, in sharing our talents, in sharing our spirit, in sharing our what we write, what we create. We have to raise ourselves up to that third level of consciousness where we actually know that we are all one.
And a lot of people, like in the Christian faith, would would consider that totally achievable. Although, maybe a savior would need to come and elevate the earth.
Yeah. Now,
You're saying maybe we could do that on our own.
well, one of the things that's happened, what I see in astrology is when I look at someone's chart, I can see that they're going to have some type of transition in their life, whether it's a small one or a major one, but let's just focus on a major one. So if I were to look at your chart and I were to see that there was going to be a major transition in your life, let's say that you were going to have a major change of career, for instance, I would know that the old career that you had would have to be destroyed, would have to be ended, would have to be in the rearview mirror for you to create something new. And so that's where we are on the planet right now. We're in a very low level, first level consciousness. For us to survive, to raise up to another level of existence, of abundance of love for each other, if we follow the pattern of individual humans, which I think we can for all of us as a species, we have to go through, or most likely we will go through, a transition period which could be cataclysmic or apocalyptic, or some dire circumstance happens that finally refocuses our attention on something better than where we have been.
You're basically saying we can't be too comfortable because comfort might help us be a little blind, whereas pain.
I would not be surprised. The idea the Christians have of Christ returning, and
That's my idea.
yeah, so that's a Christian. That's Christian
Yeah.
theology. They have that cataclysmic, apocalyptic event, and then we go into the 1,000 years of peace and love. But let's say, and who knows, that may happen. I'm maybe the dummy here, but anyway. But I do believe if we follow the pattern of humanity, whether it's an empire, whether it's a family getting divorced, whatever it is, there is a period when
destruction.
when we transform from one thing to another. There has to be an event that we go through that transforms us.
Well, even the Israelites were in the desert for 40 years.
Yeah, they were. What they had to do is they had to get rid of the old people that came from
They had to
Egypt
die them off.
they had a lower level consciousness, and they had
Enslaved.
to, when they moved into Israel, all the old ones had passed away, and even Moses didn't make it into the promised land. He had to stay out too, and then they moved into the promised land. And I don't know that they were on a higher level of consciousness, but probably not from a level 1 to a level 2, but they were in higher levels of level 1, where they moved into basically what they began to do is be responsible for themselves, whereas in Egypt they were slaves. They weren't responsible for themselves. They did what they were told to do. On the second level of consciousness, you move into a realm of self-responsibility. I'm responsible for my life and what happens. When you move into a third level of consciousness, you get into the point where I am responsible for what I create, for my reality, I'm actually joining in with all of those other third levels in being responsible for our whole reality. So
Like I contribute to it almost in a
and then
collective way.
on a fourth level of consciousness, you don't have that individual perspective. You now are everything.
So maybe next time you're on, we can talk about that. Maybe how we get there, or maybe we can talk about what was it called, law of attraction, which I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah, that's second level.
Is that second level?
It is second level.
What? I'd
Yeah.
say that's at least third.
Well, it's higher second level, almost third.
Oh, I'll take that as a
But
compliment.
it's pretty
I'll
good.
take it as a compliment.
It's pretty good. I mean, Tony Robbins is second level. That's, for instance, that's a second level. All these guys who wrote books back in the early 1900s about how to make friends and influence people, Dale Carnegie. That was second level. That was being aware of what's happening around you, and this is what you have to do if you want to be successul. So now,
We got to get the world there first, maybe.
we have to rise above second level. We have to go to the third level. Otherwise, we're toast. How about that?
A great way to finish up the segment, Dad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is 2 p.m. You're welcome to stick around, but we're going to have Darren Claxton on next. He is in the control booth. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play one of his next songs. I have some queued up here. And we introed with his song called Simple Life. I want to play that again right now because I didn't get to play the whole thing.
But before you do that, Becky,
What?
I'm going to give Little Scribe. Yes, sorry about that. I'm going to give Little Scribe a kiss.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
Love
are
you.
you going or are you
Yeah,
staying?
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Love you.
You have a good afternoon.
Blessings. Be
Wonderful.
good.
You're a wonderful guest. You'll have to come again.
I will. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you.
I'm going to play this song while I walk my dad to the door. Let's see if I can get the...
To the sound of laughter and play, windmill sails in the distance. I warm my bones with sunny days. I warm my bones with sunny days. Satisfied with living easy. It's now time to make a change.
That was Darren Claxton. And the song was Simple Life, right? Is that which one that was? Maybe I'm too
Hello, good evening from England.
Welcome aboard!
It's Darren. Hi, and I'm going to give Little Scribe some goosebumps so down my back.
Yes. My husband's in the other room.
Well, I'm too far away to get.
You're too far away for him to throttle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Maybe I'll be doing the throttling. Maybe I'll chuck you on my back like a caveman and run off with you into the woods.
Oh, I just need to check my feed. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. All right.
Sound check. Yeah, I've just got a bottle of water on my Alt key, so I can play. Yeah?
Were you going to play right now?
Sure, I mean, if it's coming over nice and clear, I'll play a song now. What do you think? Yeah. Where is she?
Yeah. You can go. You can play. I'm sorry.
Well, should we have a... So that's fine. Should we have a chat first? Maybe we should have a chat, because we've only just met and, you know...
We did.
That's not what we do.
I was a little I was a little thrown off by what you were doing. So I actually do have some questions for you, Darren, and I wanted to talk about maybe a little bit where you're from, because it's super funny, my experience with what you told me. Okay, so I wanted to have you write down. Do you have text chat right there? Like, are you at the computer? Can you text chat?
I do, yeah. Of course I do, yeah.
Okay. So I want you to write down where you're from, like spell it out, and then don't say it, just type it, and have people guess. Okay, so looking at where he's from, this is a little village he's from a village in the county of this place here. When I look at that, like as an American, I think, oh, Derbyshire, right? Like, oh, you're from Derbyshire.
Oh man, that's funny.
So how's it really pronounced?
It's called Derbyshire.
Oh, see,
Derbyshire, yeah. Well, I'm from a place called Cambridge originally, which is near London. So, and I moved. So Cambridge is near London, maybe half an hour from. Okay. So I live in Derbyshire, which is in the middle of the country. It's in the Midlands. And it's a really beautiful place. I was using some pictures. We spoke this morning about it. I think it was midnight there, and when it was about 8 o'clock for me in the morning, I was on my way to work. So we've been time traveling today.
I think it was 7.
Traveling.
It was like 7 or 8 for you, and it was midnight for me. And
that's right.
I went online and I looked up the place where you're from, and you're right on the edge of a national park. And I thought, well, this is gorgeous. Like the pictures are stunning. It's seriously like you're in a movie. Like you're on, what's it called? Pride and Prejudice or Sense and Sensibility. I know it's such a stereotype thing to say, but you guys, it's like mind-bogglingly beautiful. Like just rolling green hills and little mists of cloud hovering over the foothills. And then you have nice little villages and cottages made of stone. Probably they were handmade. And then bridges and like sheep, right? And your population is 1,200. Is that right?
Yeah, there's 2 villages. So I live in a place called Netherheage, which is Netherheage. So we're in the nether regions. We're in the bottom of the valley, and then on the top of the hill is Heage, which is it comes from the old word high edge. So Heage, over the years, it's been developed into Heage. So back in the 1600s, maybe earlier, it was called the high edge. Now it's high edge, Heage, and it's developed into that.
I think I spelled it wrong. I heard you go Nether Hege.
No. I speak really fast when I'm really excited, because I'm really excited, so I speak really fast.
Oh, no, you're not too fast. I'm the fast one, but okay, so you need to answer a really important question for me. Now that I have a true Brit on my show, It's
Okay.
been a while since I've been to England, okay? It's been like a good solid probably 15 years. And I
Okay.
was in London because that's where I had to go because that's where the tourists go, right? But it was awesome. Okay. Two things. Number one, and I actually wrote it down because I was afraid I would forget. So hold on. So it's when you're getting on the metro. Do you ever get on the metro? Like, do you ever go into town and get on the tube?
No, I don't do that. Where I live is a village. Okay, so I have a car. If you haven't got a car here, you're pretty screwed. Buses go about every hour in my village, so if you want to get a bus anywhere, it's an hour. If you miss the bus, you have to wait another hour. So you have to have a car. Okay, so
Right, which makes it really quaint, and which is why we love you. However, like, don't you ever like go into like the city, like ever?
yeah, I do, and it's wow, it's like Pig in the City. It freaks me out, you know. I don't like it much. It's too busy. It's a bit wow, you know.
Just like my dad.
I don't mind it, but I prefer the fresh air and the smell of cow shit, you know, and horse shit. So yeah.
Because the major industry in your village is going to be agriculture and farming, right?
Yeah, it's farming. Yeah, a lot of people have farms and things. Most people work, you know, they do work in the city, which is about 45 minutes away, maybe. I work in a place called Mansfield, which is about half an hour away, which is a big town. And there's probably 100,000 people live there. So going from where my little village every morning to this big town, that's a bit overwhelming, if I'm honest. And my kids go to the school just at the top of the hill in the village school, and there's only like 150 kids there at that school. So we lead a very quaint, simple life. And the song you played is called "Simple Life," and that is about where we live.
Well,
basically.
okay, because I want to talk about that in a second. But the reason
I didn't. Yeah, go on.
the reason I ask is because I always wanted to figure out the mystery of what they say when you get on the train, the underground train, because I remember getting on the train in like the subway.
Oh, the tube. It's called the tube.
Yeah, which you guys.
It's called the tube.
It's called the tube.
The tube.
Not the
It's
tube.
called the tube.
The tube.
Yeah, the tube in London. Yeah.
So it's called the tube, and you get on, and here we call it the subway. So you get on the train, and when the door opens, or as the train is pulling up and slowing down, and then the doors are opening, there's this voice on the intercom saying, "Mind the gap between the train and the platform."
Oh, you might get sucked off.
It's my favorite I love that part, and I just wanted to know. Did I say that right? Is it train? Is it?
It does. Yeah. Please mind the doors when the train opens. You might get sucked off the platform. Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Oh, that's cute, that is. Yeah. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. You may get sucked off.
You may get sucked
Yeah.
off.
Sometimes you get sucked off. Yeah, some people get sucked off down the gap. I mean, you have to be pretty skinny to get sucked off down that gap, wouldn't you? I think.
Yeah, I think you would, but mostly people in Europe I find are pretty skinny. So I think it's a very viable warning. Like the elevators, are you kidding me? I couldn't hardly fit. Like they're like 2 feet wide.
Elevator? Oh, you mean a lift?
A lift. Sorry.
Yeah, take the lift. Yeah, elevator. I don't know. Yeah, an escalator, elevator. Yeah, elevator. It's called a lift. Yeah, get in the lift.
A tube.
That's for lazy people. That's for lazy people who are a bit obese. They get in the lift because they can't be bothered to walk up the
Which
steps.
that's why we have such an issue of obesity in our country, because we use the lift. Am I right?
You are, yeah.
You guys walk everywhere. Okay, so
Okay.
and then the other thing was, and I just want to make fun of you a little bit because I know you probably get this a lot, but we're going to talk about the pronunciation here of words. So
Okay.
when I was in London, again, we were in Leicestershire. Is that right? Leicestershire?
Leicestershire. You mean?
Yes.
Leicestershire. Leicestershire.
Okay, Leicestershire. So
Yeah,
when,
my uncle is he's in the American Air Force. He married my auntie in like '97. So yeah, he used to say Worcestershire.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
that's exactly where I'm going with this, because when I see
Yeah,
that bottle in
yeah.
the fridge, my mom says, "Go get the Worcestershire sauce." I'm like, It's Worcestershire, Mom. It's Worcestershire. That's how it's spelled. But apparently it's
Worcestershire. No, it's called Worcestershire sauce.
What people? It's Worcestershire sauce, and it's
Worcestershire. Yeah, it's lovely with scrambled egg. I have it with scrambled egg, and yeah, it's gorgeous, man. So I make scrambled egg in the microwave. So I eat really healthy. I like to work out. So I have 2 cracked eggs in a coffee cup, and then I put like a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce in, and I'll nuke it for like 2.5 minutes. It's the best scrambled egg ever. So you need to try this.
I have never heard of scrambled eggs and Worcestershire.
Yeah, man, and put it in a like a mug, like a mug. I call it a coffee mug. Yeah, so you whisk it up in there, a little bit of milk, Worcestershire sauce, and bang it in the microwave like 3 minutes, and it comes out like a cup of scrambled egg. It's awesome.
That's crazy. I mean, I will try it. I'll try it, but it sounds disgusting.
No, it's really not. It's really not. It's good protein, and it's quick. It's a quick little snack.
The only thing
you're a busy mum. You're a busy mum, aren't you? I'm a busy dad. I have 2 kids, and I teach as well in the day, so I have a day job. So yeah, sometimes you get home, you're like, I just want to have some scrambled eggs in a cup.
Scrambled eggs in a cup.
Yeah, Worcestershire sauce, scrambled eggs in a cup, lovely jubbly, down the neck, gorgeous. Thanks very much.
I will try it. It does sound gross. Because the only thing I've ever had Worcestershire sauce in is like stroganoff. My stroganoff's amazing. And then the other word, I thought you were saying like Leicestershire. Say that right. So how does it go?
Leicestershire.
Leicestershire.
Yeah, Leicestershire. Now my uncle Tracy, he says Leicestershire. Leicester, it's Leicestershire, mate.
Yeah, it looks like Leicestershire. But no, it's not.
Oh, no. Yeah. Leicestershire. Say it quick.
Okay, so that's really all of the questions I had regarding your stereotype. Now, let's get into...
That's not a stereotype. That's just it's just a language. It's just our accents. They're different. We still spell words the same, but you spell it color, and we spell it colour.
Yes.
O-U-W. So there's some different, some grammatical errors in my grammatical thing.
Right. I just didn't want you like feeling like I was poking fun too much. But okay.
Yeah, man, it's funny. I find it funny you say stroganoff. It's stroganoff. Stroganoff. You go stroganoff.
Stroganoff. You did.
You actually like the words are like elastic band. Like I'm gonna have some stroganoff. It's like slow mo, isn't it? Slow mo stroganoff.
Stroganoff.
I thought we'd have a giggle, man. I thought we'd have a giggle. We're funny guys. Aren't we?
I think you should
You're
say.
a lady, but
You should say stroganoff. Okay, let's move on to my next question I have for you. Ready?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
And this is a really, really important question. Like this is deep stuff. So my question is, do you know the game Rock, Paper, Scissors? Do you guys play that over there?
Oh yeah, of course we do. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
some of the biggest battles in history have been settled with rock, paper, scissors.
It's true. And so, which leads me to the most important question I have, which is, if you had to be rock, paper, or scissors, which would you be and why?
I would be paper, because I'd write down everything that I need to do, and I'd wrap it in the rock, and roll away from the scissors.
You'd roll away from the scissors. No, because if you had, you know what? You would be if you were wrapped, the rock was wrapped in you, you could crush the scissors. But rolling away is even better. That's like non-violent. You're like Gandhi over here.
I am, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do a selfie. Because I like, I'm a bit vain and stuff. So.
Well,
there you go.
Okay, so you asked me. You were like, I'm gonna give LittleScribe some chills, and I didn't have my video feed on when you did that, and I was like, oh, like the whole time.
Man, did you have some chills?
Are you kidding me? You had this like deep, rumbly British voice, and you're like, right now I'm gonna get LittleScribe.
There you go. Just put a selfie, and that's me. As I sit here, and this is my dining room. So this is our crazy. It's the kids' toy room. So there's all kids' toys everywhere, and there's me There you go. There's me. Yeah, cool. Not looking bad for my age, man.
No, not at all. I don't know what age you are, but you don't look bad for your age. Okay, next question.
I am 44 years old.
Oh, yeah, not bad at all. Hey,
thank you, man.
speaking of chills, have you ever like flirted your way out of a traffic ticket? Even I mean, mostly you get pulled over by dudes, but I mean, have you ever?
Over, I'll be honest. No, it's not happened to me. Never been pulled over. No.
What? Never been pulled over? You probably just kind of have these long, like, Autobahn roads where it's just the circumference of the mountains and you just drive forever. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, you can go out on a Sunday here and not see, well, you probably see one more or two more cars. They're little country lanes, and they're quite, you're going down, you don't go too quick, all right? 40 is about the maximum you can go. So you're going 40 miles an hour. I mean, there might be a bloody great tractor coming the other way, or a load of sheep across the road, or you're going to get some sort of massive big beast come across the road, so you can't be going too quick. So, yeah, but you can be out in those sticks, in the sticks we call it, and you can drive around and find a little country pub and stop there and have a nice bag of pork scratchings or peanuts and a pint of beer. That's lovely.
Oh.
You know what pork scratchings are? You know what these are? Pork scratchings.
Isn't that the pork skins? Like the skins that are...
Yeah. Rind? Do you call it rind?
Yes.
Pork rind? Yeah, pork rind. Rind and bean, pork rind and beans, Billy Bob, pork and beans, you motherfucker. Yeah, that's it, yeah. My best southern accent. Yeah, so they're pork scratchings, yeah. And you
Pork
have some of those in the
scratchings.
village pub. Pork scratchings, yeah, it sounds horrible, doesn't it? Like a pig scratched his ass and deep fried it, but no, they're called pork scratchings.
Yeah, that's basically what it does sound like.
Yeah.
What about chips? Like, do you have fries there or just chips?
Oh god, I call them chips, man. I mean, chips are potatoes, like from McDonald's. Yeah, they're chips. I call them chips. They call them. Do you want fries with that? No, they're chips. Okay, and then you call chips crisps. They're crisps. Like Walker's crisps and stuff like that. They're called crisps.
But we mostly just call chips and fries. Okay, question that I just thought of. This is huge. I don't know. You guys probably don't have a lot of fast food there. You probably just have like real food in your village. But what about the city where you work? Do you guys have fast food? Like, I saw McDonald's everywhere when I was in London. I'm like, why?
Yeah, there's a lot. We're about 4 miles from the nearest supermarket. So a supermarket's like a big shop that sells lots of food and stuff. So we're about 4 miles. So we're not too far.
Oh, is it? Is that what a supermarket is?
That's what a supermarket's like. Yeah.
We know that.
But you have bloody huge places, don't you? They're ridiculous. It's like a whole day out just to go and buy some groceries or whatever. I pop to the shop on the way home and I get some groceries, and stuff. So that's about 4 miles away. Now there's a McDonald's about 3 miles. So there is a McDonald's near us, but we don't frequent it very much, because I'm watching my body. I'm watching my weight. Nobody else will. So
You're watching your figure.
I'm watching my weight. No one else will. Okay, so.
Okay, I'm going to tell you my... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. You're first.
Oh, you're so polite. Okay, I'm going to tell you my two favorite... No. I'm going to tell you my top 5 favorite British words. You ready? Can I call it a British word? Because it's not an English word. It's a British word. You ready for this?
Well, I like to be called English because I'm English. In England, and there's I'm English.
Yeah, but if I say English word, then people are going to think I'm talking about just the language. What I mean is like British Isles.
A British one. Go then.
Okay, so for the sake of argument, I'm going to say British word. I'm going to tell you my top 5 faves. You ready? And I think they go without saying. I won't even have to explain why they're awesome. Ready, guys? This is for you, all of you who speak not British English. Okay? And
I'll do some comedy sort of finger picking guitar. How about that? Would that be funny?
Yes, that'd be great. You go right ahead. Here, let me turn it down a little.
Okay, like this. Can you hear it?
Yes. Okay, so word number 1 is frequent. I say frequent. We frequent a store, or it's very frequent that it happens. But no, in England, they say frequent. Another one.
That has 2 different meanings, though. Yeah, okay. That is different.
Yeah, and one of them's a noun and one's a verb.
Yeah, so I fart frequently, okay? I don't frequent a fart, But, you see? So I don't, I'm going to do a frequent fart. No, I frequent. I frequent means I go somewhere often. I frequent the supermarket.
Okay,
I frequently go to the soup. So it's past tense, pretense. Yeah? Okay.
I frequent, meaning it's a verb. I frequent. Like, I frequent the store.
Frequent is a verb.
I frequent
it's
this
doing it.
establishment. I will no longer be frequenting your establishment. Only you would say, I will no longer be frequenting your establishment. Am I right?
Yeah, no, a verb ends in ly. So I frequently go is a doing word. Frequent is it's a
It's a verb. I'm sorry, it's a verb.
It's a kind of verb, yeah. Well, it's like an adverb here. All right. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Go on then.
Yeah, it
Okay,
kind of
go
is like
on.
an adverb. But either way, I like how you guys have like the accent on the last half of the word. Frequent.
Frequent.
Another one
Yeah,
is
free.
frustrating, because we say frustrating, but you guys say frustrating.
Frustrating. You're very frustrating.
This is so frustrating.
Oh, this Discord is so frustrating. It's really giving me brain freeze and grinding my gears and melting my cheese.
And it's making me frequently fart. Okay, my next word is literature. We would say literature.
Ah, literature. Yeah, but that's just your accent. Literature. No, so it's literature.
Literature.
I'm going to read this passage from this literature.
I think-
it is astonishingly beautiful, and I frequent this book very rapidly. You know.
And it's so frustrating that the book is only so long. This literature is overstimulating. Okay, my next favorite word is strawberries. You guys would say strawberries.
Oh, strawberries. I grow I'm a gardener. I love horticulture. I do lots of things. actually. I'm a very
Horticulture.
eccentric
I
man.
would say horticulture.
Horticulture. Horticulture. Yeah, horticultures. Yeah, all things to. I like bonsai. I like horticulture. So I've got strawberries in my back garden, which you call a yard. In my yard.
Yes.
A yard is a unit of measurement. It's not.
You call it a garden, right? A yard is a garden.
Yeah, because a yard is a unit of measurement, isn't it? A yard is 3 feet. That's a yard. You say yards, we say meters and feet. But yeah, a yard is a unit of measurement. So anyway, we're talking about
So
strawberries.
basically, those are my top favorite words: frequent,
Oh, okay.
frustrating,
Yeah.
literature,
Oh,
and strawberry.
okay. And do you know what? You are very, very cute. So I just wanted to say that. Right. So let's come to the next thing. This is my favourite. Irritating, frustrating, frequently makes my teeth grate like this. You say aluminum plating.
What was that? What?
There was a film out years ago called Tin Men, and they sold aluminum plating.
Aluminium.
You said, yeah, but they said, "Hey Bob, let's go and sell some aluminum plating." You know.
Yeah, I say aluminum.
No, it's aluminium.
You just hold on right there. I'm gonna go get my aluminum. I'm gonna show you. Please hold.
What? No, I'm not holding. What? Aluminium. What do you guys think? What do you say? Aluminium?
Okay, and then after this, we're gonna play a song because I think we need one. Let's see. Oh. All right.
Aluminium. That's how you spell it. ALUMINIU.
You guys and Frank, you guys spell it aluminium like it has an IUM at the end, but here in the States,
Yes, because it's a. Yeah. Okay.
here in the States, it's actually spelled. What?
UM. ALINUM.
Let me see.
ALUMINUM. That's how you spell it, won't you? Without the I.
Ooh, it's hard. Let me try and focus it. I'm trying to focus it. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't think my camera's doing it, but anyway. Okay, so let's hear a song. Which one? What do you want to play?
Okay, so I'm gonna sing my song. It's called Time. I know we've had a good fun, but the song's quite serious. I do sing quite serious
I love this song, guys. Okay, let's
What?
get into serious mode. But before you start the song, let's talk for just 1 second. We're gonna talk about the song that I played on the intro. And
I don't know what was happening, but I could not get online or anything.
Oh.
So you played Simple Life, didn't you?
I played Simple Life, and I like that song because I'm a huge Garfunkel fan, like Simon and Garfunkel and Simon,
I
Paul
love
Simon.
Yeah.
And it
Paul
sounded,
Simon,
it kind of had Paul Simon in there, I feel.
It does. It had that Graceland. Oh, na, na, na. It's got those harmonies in
Just
there.
those
that
like
are good.
little upbeat, little boom, chicka boom, chicka 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 boom kind of things. Very pleasant. Okay, so let's hear something a little more serious. This one is called Time, and go and do you want to play it live, or do you want me to play the recording?
No, I like to play live. I just want to check. Am I coming across okay? So if I. Can I sing? Can you hear me? Does that sound okay to you?
That sounds great. Does anyone else have any problems hearing Darren?
Can you hear me singing my song? Okay, nobody said anything, so I'm going to go for it.
Nice, nice. Okay.
Oh, so that necklace, yeah. So I've started making jewelry. So this is a stone out my garden, on that neck, and this is a bit of yeah. So I drilled a hole through this stone and made a necklace for myself.
Out of what?
It's just a stone in the garden, some limestone.
Oh, I want to see a close up.
Yeah, I'm eccentric, man. I do some weird shit. Anyway, okay, here we go. Right, I'm gonna sing the song. Hi, this is Darren Claxton, and this is my song "Time." The light shines on your photos, reflecting in your eyes, and I'm losing all my feelings. As time goes by, and I'm falling from my cradle straight into my grave, and I wanted you to be there and call my reflections on your photos, reflecting in your eyes, and I'm losing all my feelings. You know, as time
Awesome job, Darren.
How was that, man?
That was awesome. That was amazing.
Was
I
it really?
loved it. Yes, I loved it.
Thank you.
You're
Have
very
you come
articulate.
across- Sorry?
You know, there was, I think, maybe a little bit of sound issue on the mic. It came across a bit fuzzy, and I don't know if it was because of a internet issue or a mic issue. We can look into that. I don't know if it was my end or yours, but I could still hear. One of the things I like about your music actually is how articulate you are on the guitar, because I play guitar, and so I know when I'm hearing a good sound. And you had some fun little trills in there and frills that I thought were pretty cool. You kind of hammered it
like
up.
the simplified version, because it's E minor to C to G. So the first, like mine, it's going to go on the album. It's going to be. So you got those. Can you hear those harmonics? That's how you.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, lots of voicings.
And I've always been a fan of palm muting kind of strumming. I like that. I like that style quite a bit.
Yeah, because that adds to, in the versing, you can open up the palm muting in the chorus.
Yeah, and it just has a different pickup. It has different sound. And the end where you kind of echoed it out and stopped, that was cool, have to say.
Oh, which bit? The end?
Yeah, just the end of the song where you were singing and you kind of stopped the guitar. It had like an echoey sound. It was really cool.
Ah, yeah, cool. I've got some, I'm going through my studio and it's got like a little bit of delay on that. Yeah, cool.
It could be there's a little bit of distortion from the delay. I'm thinking that could be the case. But either way, I still loved it live. Like, that was awesome. It's almost like you were right here in my living room. We were all just sitting around the couch. It looks like Phoenix came in. He says that you sound fine, but the music was just a bit distorted. But it still was it was awesome. I love it. I love guitar. I love guitar. I love piano. I love voice. You know what I wanted to do with you, and I don't think we can, is because the way Discord is that if you're talking at the same time, then it will create a feedback. But we got to figure out how to sing.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We got to figure out how to sing. There's a song. It's the fish and chips and vinegar, because that got me thinking when we were talking about chips. I was like, fish and chips and vinegar. You know that song?
No, I don't know that.
Oh, okay. I'll have to teach it to you off the air. It's just a little ditty. It's like there's 3 different parts and they're all different, but they go together. And so we would sing it together. It's just fun. It's just good fun. But we probably couldn't. I don't know if we could do it on Discord, because when you talk at the same time, it creates a reverb and a feedback that I don't think would work. But either way, we can figure it out. Don't you worry. Don't worry.
We need to make a decentralized, Discord, so we get the sound really good and get it up to 192 kbs, and we give it a really good.
That would be really cool. Hey, welcome to the show, Phoenix. Thanks for popping in. We're listening right now to Darren Claxton. We love this guy. He's from a little village called, I don't know the name of the village, but the county is called, let me get this, Derbyshire.
Derbyshire, well done. That's good. Not Derbyshire. Derbyshire.
Yesterday I called it Derbyshire. He's from a little village called Derbyshire. Derbyshire.
Yeah, there you go.
And I wanted him on the show today because I love his music. I wanted to actually, maybe not right now, but at the end of the show, I'm going to play, which one was it? Let me check.
Was it right? Is that?
I can't decide between Was It Right or Inside Your Soul. I think I'm going to play Inside Your Soul.
Inside Your Soul's a lovely song. It's weird saying that about your own songs, isn't it, really? But yeah, I sort of record them and then don't listen to them anymore. Then I sometimes listen to them and think, wow, I'd done that.
I know. It's like, did I do that? That's actually kind of cool. The thing about writing music, though, is that you can't really ever have an objective sound because it's part of you. So it's like looking in the mirror. You can see what you look like, but what do you look like to other people? Like when you make a song, you can feel and hear what it looks like and sounds like, but what does it sound like to other people? So it's always nice to get a little feedback, yeah, your hair looks great today, or, oh, I like that riff you did. So I'm just telling you right now, I love your music. I'm a big music buff, not total buff, but I like music. I like good music. I think you have good music. So it's been fun having you on
red
the show.
hair maybe helps a little bit. I don't know.
I don't have, it's more of a blondish. Oh, yeah, your hair. Yeah, it might.
Yeah.
No, I
It
think your
reflects
music
in
stands.
eyes, that's right. Yeah. Thank you.
And then I had some other funny questions for you. So we've got
Go for it.
20 minutes left in the hour. And
Okay.
for everyone tuning in, we just had a couple people come on. This is the Dear Little Scribe show. We play, I stream live every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Universal Time, which is 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're tuning in, even if you're just not on chat, but you're tuning into steamstar.net, which I know a lot of you are, just know that we love you out there, even if we can't see you. And if you can jump on the chat, it's even more fun because we can chat. So we're over on the SteamStar Network chat room server on Discord. And Sarge is one of my loyal fans. Well, I wouldn't call you a fan, but you're just a loyal guy, right? Like, he's always here. And one of the things that I like about the SteamStar Network is that it's sort of an up and coming. Like the guy who developed it, which is Sir Quark, he worked on PALS and got it a lot more attention to where it is today. And then came over here, started his own channel, his own network. And so we've got a lot of new shows on the schedule. And I just want to go over them really, really quick. I'm not going to read all of them, but actually I won't go over all of them, but I will say that we have something fun on every day of the week, just about. Sir Quark does like a 4-hour bit on Sundays, and he just kind of rambles, but his rambles are really fun. Like, they're really intellectual. He's a very, very fast, witty, smart, on your toes kind of a guy. Most of it's techie, some of it's philosophical, some of it's political, some of it's kind of bitchy, like he bitches. And then on Mondays, you guys, you have to tune in because my friend Carrie Allen and her husband Chris write this skit called Space Carrie's Adventures in Space. And I do the voice acting for some of the characters on that show. And and we should get you on the show. Oh my gosh. Totally.
Yes, I spoke to her about this. She played my EP a few weeks ago. I spoke to her that, do you want me to do a voice? I could be an English like baddie or something like that.
Yeah, we need to get you on the show. I'll tell Chris to write you in. I'm sure we can come up with something. But
like
Chris,
a spacey James Bond kind of guy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Although I think James Bond is sort of taken by Sir Quark, by Captain Quark. But
Okay,
we
that's
should have like a thing where you guys come in and you have like a space duel or something. I don't know.
You could like make just a crappy weird song up.
We-
Hey, calories, you know, just
That's
make some
not a bad idea. You should
Ah.
totally make up a song. We
The
were
singing
thinking of
baddie,
that.
the singing bad guy. How about that?
The singing bad guy. You should come up with a song. We'll sing it. I don't know. But anyways, we need to have you on the show. But it's a really fun show. It's like a 10 to 15 minute segment. And what they do is it's kind of a skit, and it's about like really ridiculous stories in space and Space Carrie and then Captain Cork. Anyway, so the parts that I play are usually like robot related. I don't know why. I play Tina Tyrannical, the cyborg, and then I play what's her name? I can't even remember. I forgot my character's name, but she's the Lydia, and she plays like a interface. So she's like a Google in space, and it's just so much fun. I recommend watching it. It's on Monday nights at midnight for UTC time. So technically it's on a Tuesday, but anyway, it's called Mission Control Mondays. There's lots of other shows to pick from, so make sure you go and check those out. And now we're on the Dear Little Scribe show, and we've got 15 minutes to the hour. We're with Darren Claxton. He's visiting us on the air from Great Britain, and he has some beautiful tunes to share with us. And I have another question for you. Are you ready for this?
Go for it.
Okay, so I already asked you if you've ever flirted your way out of a speeding ticket, and you're like, we don't get speeding tickets because our land is so beautiful and like vast that the roads go on to nowhere. And I just wanted to punch you.
Oh no. No, let me tell you, we do get speeding tickets. You know what they do here? They're so sneaky.
Oh, you're just too charming.
The first thing you know about a speeding ticket is you get it in the post. You know, whatever you call it. Yeah.
Well, my brother was so charming. Every time he got, because he'd get pulled over all the time, like in high school, college. He'd get pulled over all the time, and then he'd charm his way out of a ticket every time. And then I was like, lame, not cool. But then one time I was driving, it was in college, and I was going on a study abroad to Spain, and I had been living at my grandma's all summer earning money, and I had this little Toyota truck, and I'd got all my stuff in the truck, and I was planning on putting it like in my parents' house and then getting on a plane going to Spain with like one suitcase. And I remember I got pulled over on the highway because I was going like 30 miles over, and I didn't realize it, but I was just going fast because I was all like listening to music and looking at the sunset. It was beautiful outside. Oh, no, it was the moon. We had a moon. I remember it was a full moon, and I was like just out of my mind excited gonna go to Spain. And so I get pulled over, which I was like, what? And I've come to find out it was 65. I was going 90 in a 65. And the cop thought I was drunk because when you go that fast, there's a possibility that you're being drunk. And I don't know why else. But then my brother told me he probably just saw that I was a cute girl and wanted, I don't know. But here's the thing, 90 in a 65, I get pulled over. He's like, could you step out of the car for a minute? So I step out of the car, and I was like, oh, Officer Johns. He was so cute too. I remember that. I remember he was really cute, had like this blonde crew cut, kind of a macho look, but he was really sweet. And he's like, where are you headed? And I said, I'm going to Spain. And he's like, pretty sure the I-80 is not hooked up to the Spain route, maybe. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm saving up all summer. I was like, what was I, like 22? I'm saving up all summer so I could go to Spain, and I got a scholarship, but I still need my spending money, and I need to put my money. And I like rambled for 5 minutes. And that was
how you spoke as well. Was your voice that high as well?
It was really high.
A route. What's a route anyway? Route.
A route, like Route 60.
Oh, a route. Yeah, route.
And so then I'm like, you're not going to get me a ticket, are you? Look at the moon. You can't write a ticket in that full moon. It's too pretty. You'd ruin the night. And he laughs at me, and he puts his pen down, and he's like, you're right. I can't. I was like, I wish I could take you with me to Spain. So then I went to Spain, and that was all. There's some adventures I had there. Crazy. I got pickpocketed. Did you know? It's really, like, they have the gypsies running around, and I was not prepared. And so I go to the nearest ATM, and I'm pulling out my money to like convert it to the whatever it was. It was the euro. They just converted to the euro like that year. And I'm pulling out my money, and all of a sudden I get bombarded by these two little gypsy girls who they like stuck maps in my face. They were like this. They're like, oh. And so I was like, I don't need a map. Thanks. And they would not back off. And I had this little purse that was tucked inside my pants and like wrapped around with a belt. I'm not kidding. Like I knew. And
in your pants? What?
In my pants. Like I had my
what? Your that's what you underwear, your knickers.
My knickers.
That's what pants are called here. Like my pants and my underwear. That's my boxer shorts. Not my pants.
You know what?
Yeah,
it was in my pants. Not just.
Oh, wait, I've seen your trousers. In your pants, your knickers.
No, actual pants, like underpants.
Oh yeah, that's it.
I mean, I said pants because here in the States that's the word for trousers, but frankly, it was like way down deep, and I'm like, nobody's getting my passport, right? Because I had my passport and I had money anyway. So these two girls come up and they're like, "Want to buy a map?" And I'm like, "No, I don't need a map." They wouldn't get out of my face, so finally, they grab my arms. One of them grabs this arm, the other one grabs the other arm. They start squeezing really, really tight, and I was like, I'm feeling accosted right now and violated and also assaulted. And I just got here and I was like, what is going on? Why are they grabbing me and why won't they get the maps out of my face? And then all of a sudden I yelled at them in Spanish. I don't remember what I said. And they run off and I'm like, oh, see, I'm got this figured out. And then I realized I looked down and like my pants had been unbuttoned. My purse had been pulled out, unzipped, everything out, like gone. I didn't even notice it happen. Like they squeezed my arms so I didn't feel them digging around in my pants. So
that's clever.
So then, and they had like the maps in my face. So I was like, what's going on? It all happened so fast. So I look down the road, and it's main road, like center of Madrid, right? It's not like we're in some back alley. It was like super in broad daylight. I look down the road, and I have my suitcase right here with all my stuff in it. I've got my like bag of things, and then I drop it. I bolt down the road, and I start yelling at them in Spanish. They robbed me. Me robaron, me robaron. Me. Like, they stole my purse. They stole my money. And everybody's staring, and I'm like, stop. Stop that now. And so they were so surprised that this, like, white American girl is speaking Spanish, A. B, chasing them down the street. And I'm, like, 20, and I'm running down, and I'm like, and I'd seen them pickpocket, like, this guy in the sidewalk, or in the crosswalk, because the light went green. And what they do is they try and get you like right when it turns so that you don't notice and you're focused on that green light. They pulled a wallet out of the guy's pocket, and I'm like, she stole your wallet. Like, you need it back. And so he comes over, and they're all just like, what's going on? And I go up and I grab them both, because they're like 5 feet tall, 4 feet tall. I grab them both by the arm. They're like super skinny. And I don't know what came over me, but like this adrenaline rush made me squeeze them really hard. And I was like, you will be giving my money back now. And if you don't, I don't think you want to find out what would happen. And I had never like been in a kerfuffle or a fight in my life. So I didn't want to know what would happen. And then the one girl, she's like, oh, you mean this money? And I'm like, yes, thank you. And I grab it, and I went back, and I was like, my suitcase was still there. My bag was still there. Everyone was like watching this crazy American loud girl get her money back from the gypsies. And I told my dad about it later, and he's like, you're lucky you didn't get stabbed to death. And I'm like, no, there were people around. It was fine. I think they just didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. After that, my hands were like shaking. I had to take a nap. It was an exciting experience.
Very sassy. I
didn't know where it came from.
I'm not getting the photo of you.
I think it's because my brother picked on me when I was little. My brothers made me kind of tough, and I didn't know where it came from. I'm always usually pretty sweet, but man, don't pick my pocket.
Yeah, I've got a little sister, and she's really tough. Really
Is she? It's probably because you picked on her.
Yeah. And my little girl's really tough because she has an older brother, you see. And my little girl's 4, and my son's 8, and my little girl's tough. Really
tough. I have one of those too. I think tough's good, but you gotta have a little sweet too. Like, you don't want to be too tough.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
And a high pitched voice like that.
It was crazy. I don't know. Anyway, and then my roommate got pickpocketed like the next day, and I did the same thing. I was like, you're gonna give her money back now. And they do, because they don't know what to do. They're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're not used to confrontation. They're just,
They're used to just
And that's why I hate the city. Exactly what you just said. That's why I don't like the city.
That's why I like the city.
Do you know what though? I was talking to somebody the other day about crypto, and he's like, what the hell's crypto? I'm like, well, this is the way the world's going, and in like 10 years, 20 years, there'll be no physical money. Nobody will be robbing anybody. All they'll be doing is robbing you online, which is actually quite safe, isn't it?
A lot harder to do.
Sorry?
A lot harder to do.
Absolutely, yeah. So it'll stop people being robbed and bank robberies and all this stuff, won't it? Because people will just be trying to hack your computer all the time, won't they?
Yeah, you know what? They will. That's what it's going to turn to.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to rob something in the street and go, give me your crypto. Well, it's in, I don't know where it is, man. It's on like Bittrex or Binance. I can't get to it.
I know.
Give me the key. Give me the key. Give me the fucking key. Give me your private key. No, I'm not giving you my Steam password key. Get off.
Yeah, what are you going to do? And actually,
yeah, write it down for me. Well, it's 32 digits long. I can't just remember it, actually.
I can't
Try and remember. Write it down, you bastards.
Yeah, because no one's going to remember their key. That's a good point. You're not going to carry it on you. You're not going to remember it. And actually,
Anyway, let me ask you a joke. Let me ask you a joke. Okay. Ready? How do you make a sausage roll?
How do you make a sausage roll?
Do you know what a sausage roll is? That's what we have in England. A sausage roll. How do you make a sausage roll?
You put it at the top of a hill and give it a kick.
You push it down a hill. You do. Yeah. That's
Should we finish up with one more song? I think we got 5 minutes, and then we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, go.
I have you on.
Okay.
I think I'll play one. I'll play the one we were talking about.
Inside Your Soul.
Inside your soul. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like 11 o'clock. Do you know what? It's been an absolute hoot. And like I was saying to you, we should do something together because I think it'd be great, don't you?
Yeah, I think this could be fun. I think we could have a lot of fun. We're going to have you on more often. All right, guys, this was Darren Claxton. We're going to hear Inside Your Soul. And this is the bottom of the hour for Dear Little Scribe every Wednesday. Same time, same place.
Thank you, everybody. You've been beautiful, and especially you, doll.
Won't you fight to survive? Won't you survive to fight, to fight? Won't you live for life, for life? Will you give, decide, decide? Heartbroken promises inside your soul. Where were you, my friend, when I needed you most? Safe and sound tonight. Warm inside and out, find the fear without, without. Calm and still for now, for now. Heartbroken promises inside your soul. Where were you, my friend, when I needed you most? Heartbroken promises inside your soul. Where were you, my friend, when I needed you most? When I needed you most. Whoa.